Question 1. Commercial property insurance. Which of the following is true regarding the causes of loss forms in commercial property insurance? A. The basic causes of loss form provides coverage for all types of damages including fire, vandalism, and flood. B. The broad causes of loss form provides coverage for fire, vandalism, and vandalism, but excludes earthquake damage. C. The special causes of loss form provides the most comprehensive coverage, including all perils except those explicitly excluded in the policy. D. The broad causes of loss form provides coverage for all types of damages except for water damage and earthquake damage. Answer. C. Explanation. The causes of loss forms: basic, broad, and special define the risks covered under a commercial property policy. The basic causes of loss form provides coverage for a limited set of perils, such as fire, lightning, and vandalism, but does not include water damage or earthquakes. The broad causes of loss form covers additional perils like falling objects and water damage from sprinkler systems. The special causes of loss form, on the other hand, is the most comprehensive, covering all risks unless specifically excluded by the policy, for example, flooding or earthquake damage. Understanding the differences between these forms is crucial for selecting the appropriate coverage based on a business's needs. Question 2. Workers' compensation insurance scenario-based. Mr. Roberts operates a medium-sized construction company in Montana and has 5 full-time employees. One of his workers, Mr. Carter, is injured while working on a construction site. Mr. Roberts' business is located in Montana, and Mr. Carter is unable to work for several weeks due to his injury. Mr. Roberts does not have workers' compensation insurance as he believes it is optional for small businesses in Montana. What should Mr. Roberts do next? A. Mr. Roberts should immediately apply for workers' compensation insurance as it is mandatory for all businesses in Montana with any employees. B. Mr. Roberts is not legally required to carry workers' compensation insurance because his business has fewer than 10 employees. C. Mr. Roberts should wait to see if the injury becomes serious before deciding on the next steps. D. Mr. Roberts should only provide medical benefits to Mr. Carter but is not required to compensate him for lost wages. Answer A. Explanation. In Montana, workers' compensation insurance is mandatory for all employers with at least one employee. This includes businesses like Mr. Roberts's that have fewer than 10 employees. Workers' compensation coverage provides compensation for medical expenses, rehabilitation costs, and lost wages for employees who are injured on the job, as well as death benefits in case of fatal accidents. Failure to provide workers' compensation insurance could result in severe penalties, including fines and potential lawsuits from injured workers. Additionally, without workers' compensation, Mr. Roberts could be personally liable for Mr. Carter's medical expenses and lost wages. Question 3. Commercial liability insurance. Which of the following statements regarding general liability (CGL) insurance is correct? A. CGL insurance provides automatic coverage for damage to property rented by the insured, regardless of whether negligence is involved. B. CGL insurance excludes coverage for bodily injury resulting from the insured's professional services. C. CGL insurance offers protection against personal injury, including libel and slander, but does not cover advertising injury. D. CGL insurance generally provides coverage for bodily injury, property damage, and personal injury, but does not cover contractual liability. Answer B. Explanation. Option A is incorrect because general liability (CGL) insurance generally does not cover damage to property rented by the insured unless an endorsement is added. Option B is correct. CGL insurance typically excludes coverage for bodily injury or property damage resulting from professional services provided by the insured. This is where professional liability or errors and omissions (EO) insurance comes into play, covering liability arising from professional services. Option C is incorrect because CGL insurance does cover advertising injury, including offenses like false advertising, defamation, and infringement of copyright. Option D is incorrect because CGL insurance does offer coverage for contractual liability subject to certain exclusions, such as liability arising from contracts involving the sale or transfer of ownership of real property. Understanding these nuances helps ensure that businesses purchase the appropriate coverage for their specific risks. Question 4. Commercial auto insurance. Which of the following is true regarding the business auto policy? A. The BAP automatically covers hired and non-owned vehicles for accidents that occur during business operations. B. The BAP does not provide liability coverage for owned vehicles used by employees for personal purposes. C. The BAP provides coverage for personal injuries resulting from an accident regardless of who is at fault. D. The BAP includes comprehensive coverage for owned vehicles, but excludes collision damage under any circumstance. Answer A. Explanation. The Business Auto Policy BAP is designed to cover commercial vehicles used in business operations. Option A is correct because the BAP typically provides coverage for vehicles that are rented, hired, or used occasionally but not owned, non-owned in the course of business operations. Option B is incorrect because the BAP does provide coverage for vehicles used by employees in business operations, regardless of whether the vehicle is owned or hired. Option C is incorrect because personal injuries resulting from an accident are typically covered by the Medical Payments or Personal Injury Protection (PIP) coverage, not by the liability coverage of the BAP. Option D is incorrect because the BAP provides both comprehensive and collision coverage, but specific conditions may apply, such as deductibles and exclusions. Question 5. Risk management and loss prevention. Which of the following risk management strategies is most effective for reducing the financial impact of a catastrophic event, such as a fire or flood, on a business? A. Risk transfer through purchasing commercial insurance policies. B. Risk retention by setting aside financial reserves to cover potential losses. C. Risk avoidance by completely eliminating the possibility of loss, such as moving the business out of a flood zone. D. Risk reduction by installing advanced fire suppression systems and flood barriers to minimize damage. Answer D. Explanation. Option D is correct because risk reduction involves taking steps to minimize the impact of a loss when it occurs, such as installing fire suppression systems, flood barriers, or other safety measures. This can reduce both the probability of a catastrophic event and its financial consequences. Option A refers to risk transfer, which is done through purchasing insurance policies. While it helps transfer the financial burden, it does not prevent the loss from occurring, making it less effective in mitigating the impact compared to reduction strategies. Option B is risk retention, where a business sets aside money to cover potential losses. While it works in some scenarios, it may not provide sufficient funds to cover large losses like floods or fires. Option C describes risk avoidance, which may not always be possible. G. Avoiding a fire is not entirely feasible, and completely moving the business could be costly or impractical. Question 6. Commercial crime insurance. Which of the following is a common exclusion under employee dishonesty coverage in commercial crime insurance? A. Employee theft of money or securities. B. Loss due to dishonest acts of former employees if the employee was terminated within the last 30 days. C. Loss caused by a customer fraudulently altering a check. D. Loss due to embezzlement by an employee who has been working at the company for over 5 years. Answer B. Explanation. Option B is correct. Many employee dishonesty policies have an exclusion for dishonest acts committed by former employees who were terminated within a specific time frame, often 30 days. This exclusion limits the scope of coverage for actions taken by recently terminated employees. Option A is incorrect because employee theft of money or securities is typically covered under employee dishonesty insurance. Option C is incorrect because loss caused by a customer fraudulently altering a check may be covered under a different form of commercial crime insurance, such as forgery coverage. Option D is incorrect because employee dishonesty coverage does not typically exclude losses based on the length of employment unless specified in the policy. Question 7. Commercial property insurance. Which of the following is a characteristic of a business owner's policy, BOP, in terms of coverage? A. A BOP automatically includes flood coverage for all types of properties. B. A BOP provides property coverage for both owned and rented properties. C. A BOP includes both property and liability coverage, but only for businesses with less than $1 million in revenue. D. A BOP offers specialized coverage for businesses engaged in heavy manufacturing or industrial activities. Answer B. Explanation. Option B is correct because a business owner's policy, BOP, is designed to provide property and liability coverage for businesses and typically covers both owned and rented properties used in business operations. Option A is incorrect because flood coverage is generally not included in a BOP and must be purchased separately through a flood policy. Option C is incorrect because a BOP can be available for businesses of various sizes, not just those with less than $1 million in revenue. Option D is incorrect because heavy manufacturing or industrial businesses usually need specialized policies, such as industrial property insurance, beyond a standard BOP to meet their specific needs. Question 8. Commercial umbrella and excess liability insurance. Which of the following is a key feature of an umbrella liability policy? A. It covers claims that exceed the limits of underlying liability policies and also provides coverage for risks not included in those policies. B. It is designed to cover losses that fall within the limits of an underlying commercial general liability policy. C. It only covers liability for bodily injury or property damage, excluding personal injury and advertising injury. D. It provides coverage for claims that are already covered by primary insurance policies with no additional exclusions. Answer A. Explanation. Option is correct because an umbrella liability policy provides additional coverage beyond the limits of primary policies such as commercial general liability (CGL). It also broadens coverage to include certain risks not covered by the underlying policies. Option B is incorrect because umbrella policies cover excess liability, not losses, within the limits of the underlying policies. Option C is incorrect because umbrella policies often provide broader coverage, including personal injury and advertising injury, which are typically excluded from primary liability policies. Option D is incorrect because umbrella policies are designed to cover claims that exceed the limits of primary coverage and may include additional exclusions or conditions. Question 9. Underwriting and rating procedures. Which of the following underwriting factors is most likely to affect the premium of a commercial property policy? A. The location and proximity of the business to a fire station or fire hydrant. B. The number of employees at the business, regardless of their roles. C. The owner's personal history with previous homeowners insurance claims. D. The amount of personal property used by the business in its operations. Answer A. Explanation. Option is correct because the location and proximity of a business to a fire station or fire hydrant can significantly affect the underwriting of a commercial property policy. Businesses located farther from emergency services may face higher premiums due to the increased risk of fire damage. Option B is incorrect because the number of employees may influence certain aspects of the policy, but it is not a direct factor in premium determination for property coverage. Option C is incorrect because personal history with homeowners insurance claims is not generally a factor in underwriting commercial property policies. Option D is incorrect because personal property used in business operations may affect coverage limits but is not directly correlated with premium calculations for commercial property insurance. Question 10. Commercial general liability (CGL) insurance. Which of the following is typically excluded under a commercial general liability (CGL) policy? A. Bodily injury caused by a product defect. B. Property damage caused by the insured's work that has not been completed. C. Personal injury claims arising from false advertising. D. Bodily injury caused by an employee while performing business operations. Answer B. Explanation. Option B is correct because the CGL policy excludes property damage caused by the insured's work that has not been completed or is in progress. This exclusion applies to situations where defective work causes property damage but has not been finished. Option A is incorrect because bodily injury caused by a product defect is typically covered under the CGL policy. Option C is incorrect because personal injury claims arising from false advertising are generally covered under the CGL policy's personal and advertising injury coverage. Option D is incorrect because bodily injury caused by an employee performing business operations is generally covered under a CGL policy. Question 11. Workers' compensation insurance. Which of the following best describes the primary purpose of workers' compensation insurance? A. To provide medical and income benefits to employees who are injured or become ill due to work-related causes. B. To compensate employers for damages resulting from employee negligence in the workplace. C. To cover property damage caused by an employee during work operations. D. To provide general liability coverage for employees while working on site. Answer A. Explanation. Option A is correct because workers' compensation insurance is designed to provide medical benefits and income replacement to employees who are injured or become ill due to work-related incidents. Option B is incorrect because workers' compensation insurance does not cover employer negligence. It covers the employee's injuries or illnesses due to work. Option C is incorrect because workers' compensation does not cover property damage caused by an employer that is covered under other types of insurance like general liability. Option D is incorrect because general liability, not workers' compensation, covers on-site injury or damage issues. Question 12. Commercial property insurance. What does a coinsurance clause in a commercial property policy require the insured to do? A. Maintain insurance coverage equal to the total value of the property to avoid a penalty. B. Pay the full value of any property damage claim out of pocket up to a certain limit. C. Automatically increase coverage limits by a percentage every year to keep up with inflation. D. Reimburse the insurer for the deductible amount of a claim. Answer A. Explanation. Option A is correct because the coinsurance clause requires the insured to maintain insurance coverage that is a certain percentage, typically 80%, 90%, or 100% of the property's value. If the insured fails to do so, they may face a penalty and only receive a partial payout for a claim. Option B is incorrect because the insured does not typically pay the full value of property damage out of pocket. Coinsurance only applies to the amount of coverage relative to the property value. Option C is incorrect because while some policies adjust for inflation, the coinsurance clause itself does not automatically increase coverage limits. Option D is incorrect because the coinsurance clause does not involve reimbursement of the deductible. Question 13. Commercial auto insurance. Which of the following is typically covered under business auto policy? BAP. A. Medical expenses for a passenger injured in an accident caused by an employee while driving a company vehicle. B. Damage to a rental vehicle that is used for personal travel. C. Liability for an accident that occurs when an employee is commuting to or from work in a personal vehicle. D. Damage to personal property inside the vehicle being used for business purposes. Answer A. Explanation. Option is correct because a business auto policy BAP covers medical expenses for passengers who are injured in an accident involving a company vehicle. Option B is incorrect because damage to a rental vehicle used for personal purposes is typically not covered by a BAP. Option C is incorrect because a BAP does not cover accidents that occur when an employee is commuting to or from work using their personal vehicle. Option D is incorrect because personal property inside a business vehicle is not typically covered under a BAP unless specifically listed in the policy. Question 14. Property insurance coverage. Which of the following is covered under a typical commercial property insurance policy's business income coverage? A. Reimbursement for lost wages of an employee who is injured at work. B. The cost of replacing damaged property caused by a fire. C. The revenue a business loses due to covered property loss, such as a fire. D. The cost of legal defense if a customer sues the business for damages related to a fire. Answer C. Explanation. Option C is correct because business income coverage reimburses a business for lost revenue if the business is forced to close temporarily due to a covered property loss, such as a fire or natural disaster. Option A is incorrect because wages for employees injured at work are covered under workers' compensation, not property insurance. Option B is incorrect because the cost of replacing damaged property is covered under property damage insurance, not business income coverage. Option D is incorrect because the cost of legal defense for lawsuits is typically covered under liability insurance, not business income coverage. Question 15. Personal liability insurance. Which of the following scenarios would most likely be covered under a homeowner's personal liability insurance policy? A. A neighbor's dog is bitten by the insured's dog while playing in the insured's yard. B. The insured accidentally injures a guest in their home, resulting in medical expenses. C. A guest accidentally trips over the insured's furniture and sues the insured for injuries. D. A guest's property is damaged by fire caused by the insured while grilling on the patio. Answer C. Explanation. Option C is correct because personal liability coverage in a homeowner's policy typically covers bodily injury claims made by guests who are injured on the insured's property, including accidents like tripping over furniture. Option A is incorrect because damage or injury caused by pets is typically excluded from standard homeowner's liability insurance unless the pet is specifically covered. Option B is incorrect because accidental injury to guests is generally covered, but this scenario is more specific to personal liability than homeowner's coverage. Option D is incorrect because damage caused by fire from grilling is generally covered under the property damage portion of the homeowner's policy. Question 16. Professional liability insurance. Which of the following would most likely require a professional liability insurance policy? A. A small business owner who operates a retail store. B. An accountant who provides tax advice to clients. C. A contractor who builds residential homes. D. A driver who delivers goods for a company. Answer B. Explanation. Option B is correct because professional liability insurance, also known as errors and omissions insurance, is necessary for professionals like accountants who provide advice and services that could lead to financial loss due to mistakes or negligence. Option A is incorrect because a small business owner running a retail store typically does not need professional liability insurance unless they offer professional services. Option C is incorrect because contractors typically need general liability insurance, not professional liability. Option D is incorrect because drivers generally need commercial auto insurance, not professional liability insurance. Question 17. Commercial property insurance. Which of the following is typically covered under the equipment breakdown coverage of a commercial property policy? A. Damage caused by natural disasters like earthquakes or floods. B. Loss due to a fire that damages equipment used for manufacturing. C. Mechanical breakdown of a machine used in the production process. D. Theft of equipment from the business premises. Answer: C. Explanation. Option C is correct because equipment breakdown coverage specifically covers the mechanical breakdown of machinery and equipment used in a business's operations, often excluding wear and tear. Option A is incorrect because natural disasters are typically covered under specific property or flood insurance, not equipment breakdown coverage. Option B is incorrect because while fire damage may be covered under a commercial property policy, equipment breakdown coverage specifically addresses mechanical failures, not fire-related damage. Option D is incorrect because theft of equipment is covered under standard commercial property insurance, not equipment breakdown. Question 18. Homeowners insurance. Which of the following is generally an OT covered by a standard homeowners insurance policy? A. Fire damage to the home. B. Theft of personal property inside the home. C. Flood damage from a natural disaster. D. Liability for injuries to guests at the insured's home. Answer: C. Explanation. Option C is correct because flood damage is generally excluded from standard homeowners policies and requires a separate flood insurance policy. Option A is incorrect because fire damage is covered under standard homeowners policies. Option B is incorrect because theft of personal property inside the home is typically covered under standard homeowners policies. Option D is incorrect because liability for injuries to guests is covered under the personal liability section of a homeowner's policy. Question 19. Insurance fraud. Which of the following is a key component in identifying potential insurance fraud in claims? A. Analyzing inconsistencies in a claimant's statement and claim history. B. Offering an immediate settlement to avoid further investigation. C. Relying solely on witness statements without verifying evidence. D. Assuming all claims are fraudulent until proven otherwise. Answer A. Explanation. Option A is correct because analyzing inconsistencies in a claimant's statement or claim history can help identify potential fraud. Insurance fraud is often detected through discrepancies or irregularities in the details provided by the claimant. Option B is incorrect because rushing into a settlement without proper investigation increases the risk of overlooking fraudulent claims. Option C is incorrect because relying only on witness statements without verifying evidence may lead to fraudulent claims being accepted. Option D is incorrect because assuming fraud without cause could lead to unfair denial of legitimate claims. Question 20. Insurance underwriting. Which of the following is most likely to be considered by an underwriter when evaluating a commercial insurance application? A. The applicant's personal hobbies and activities. B. The applicant's business operations, risk factors, and claims history. C. The applicant's political views. D. The applicant's marital status. Answer: B. Explanation. Option B is correct because underwriters primarily evaluate a business's operations, risk factors, and claims history when deciding whether to approve an insurance application and determining the policy premium. Option A is incorrect because personal hobbies and activities are generally not relevant to the underwriting process for commercial insurance. Option C is incorrect because political views are not a factor in the underwriting process. Option D is incorrect because marital status is typically not relevant to commercial insurance underwriting. Question 21. Personal auto insurance. Which of the following is typically covered under personal auto policies? Collision coverage. A. Damage caused by vandalism to the vehicle. B. Damage to the vehicle caused by a hit-and-run driver. C. Damage to the vehicle caused by an animal collision. D. Damage to the vehicle caused by a collision with another vehicle or object. Answer: D. Explanation. Option D is correct because collision coverage covers damage to the insured vehicle caused by a collision with another vehicle or an object, regardless of who is at fault. Option A is incorrect because damage caused by vandalism is covered under comprehensive coverage, not collision. Option B is incorrect because damage caused by a hit-and-run driver may be covered under uninsured motorist coverage, not collision. Option C is incorrect because damage caused by an animal collision is covered under comprehensive coverage, not collision. Question 22. Liability insurance. Which of the following is true about liability insurance in a commercial general liability CGL policy? A. It covers damages caused by the insured's intentional misconduct. B. It covers injuries caused by defective products the insured manufactures. C. It covers damages to the insured's own property. D. It covers injuries to the insured's employees while at work. Answer. B. Explanation. Option B is correct because a commercial general liability CGL policy typically covers injuries caused by defective products the insured manufactures, distributes, or sells. Option A is incorrect because liability insurance does not cover damages resulting from intentional misconduct. Option C is incorrect because damage to the insured's own property is typically covered by property insurance, not liability insurance. Option D is incorrect because injuries to employees are covered by workers' compensation insurance, not a CGL policy. Question 23. Umbrella insurance. What is the primary purpose of an umbrella insurance policy? A. To cover all types of liability claims, regardless of the cause. B. To provide additional coverage for liability claims beyond the limits of the insured's primary policies. C. To cover damages to the insured's own property. D. To cover legal fees associated with defending lawsuits. Answer. B. Explanation. Option B is correct because an umbrella insurance policy provides additional liability coverage above the limits of the insured's primary insurance policies, such as auto, home, or commercial general liability insurance. Option A is incorrect because an umbrella policy does not cover all types of claims, it supplements existing coverage. Option C is incorrect because umbrella insurance does not cover damage to the insured's own property. Option D is incorrect because legal fees are generally covered under the liability portion of the primary insurance policy. Question 24. Homeowners insurance. Which of the following would typically be covered under a standard homeowners insurance policy? A. Damage to personal property caused by flooding. B. Loss of personal property due to fire or lightning. C. Damage to the insured's car caused by a tree falling on it. D. Injury to a guest caused by a dog bite. Answer. B. Explanation. Option B is correct because fire or lightning damage to personal property is typically covered under a standard homeowners insurance policy. Option A is incorrect because flood damage is typically excluded from standard homeowners insurance and requires separate flood insurance. Option C is incorrect because damage to a car from a tree falling is generally covered under auto insurance, not homeowners insurance. Option D is incorrect because while injury from a dog bite may be covered under personal liability coverage, the specific circumstances will vary. Question 25. Commercial property insurance. Which of the following is typically excluded under a standard commercial property insurance policy? A. Loss caused by vandalism. B. Loss of income due to property damage. C. Earthquake damage to the building. D. Theft of business equipment. Answer. C. Explanation. Option C is correct because earthquake damage is typically excluded from standard commercial property insurance policies and requires a separate earthquake insurance policy. Option A is incorrect because vandalism is generally covered under a commercial property insurance policy. Option B is incorrect because business income loss due to property damage is typically covered under business interruption coverage, which is often included in commercial property policies. Option D is incorrect because theft of business equipment is generally covered under a commercial property insurance policy. Question 26. Excess insurance. What is the primary difference between excess insurance and umbrella insurance? A. Excess insurance provides broader coverage than umbrella insurance. B. Excess insurance only provides additional coverage for specific types of liability, while umbrella insurance covers all types of liability. C. Excess insurance is typically cheaper than umbrella insurance. D. Excess insurance only applies to commercial policies, while umbrella insurance applies to personal and commercial policies. Answer. B. Explanation. Option B is correct because excess insurance provides additional coverage beyond the primary insurance policy, but it is limited to specific types of liability, whereas umbrella insurance offers broader coverage for various types of liability. Option A is incorrect because umbrella insurance generally provides broader coverage than excess insurance. Option C is incorrect because the cost of excess or umbrella insurance depends on various factors and one is not necessarily cheaper than the other. Option D is incorrect because excess insurance can apply to both personal and commercial policies. Question 27. Professional liability insurance. Which of the following professionals would most likely need professional liability insurance? A. A lawyer who provides legal advice. B. A plumber who installs pipes. C. A restaurant owner who serves food. D. A retailer who sells clothes. Answer 8. Explanation. Option is correct because professional liability insurance, also known as errors and omissions insurance, is essential for professionals such as lawyers who provide services or advice that could result in financial harm if done incorrectly or negligently. Option B is incorrect because plumbers typically need general liability insurance, not professional liability insurance. Option C is incorrect because restaurant owners generally need general liability insurance, not professional liability insurance. Option D is incorrect because retailers generally need general liability insurance for accidents or injuries that happen in their store, not professional liability. Question 20. Auto insurance. Which of the following is typically covered under the comprehensive coverage of a personal auto policy? A. Damage to the vehicle caused by a collision with another vehicle. B. Damage to the vehicle caused by vandalism. C. Damage to the vehicle caused by a hit-and-run driver. D. Medical expenses for injuries resulting from a car accident. Answer. B. Explanation. Option B is correct because comprehensive coverage typically covers damage to the insured vehicle caused by events other than a collision, such as vandalism, theft, or natural disasters. Option is incorrect because damage from a collision is covered under collision coverage, not comprehensive. Option C is incorrect because damage caused by a hit-and-run driver may be covered under uninsured motorist coverage, not comprehensive. Option D is incorrect because medical expenses for injuries resulting from a car accident are typically covered by medical payments coverage or personal injury protection (PIP), not comprehensive. Question 29. Workers' compensation. Which of the following is NOT covered by workers' compensation insurance? A. Medical expenses for an employee injured on the job. B. Lost wages for an employee who cannot work due to a job-related injury. C. Death benefits for the family of an employee who dies as a result of a workplace accident. D. Legal fees for defending an employer against a lawsuit from an employee. Answer D. Explanation. Option D is correct because workers' compensation insurance does not cover legal fees for defending an employer against a lawsuit from an employee. It covers the employee's medical expenses, lost wages, and death benefits for job-related injuries or fatalities. Option A is incorrect because medical expenses for workplace injuries are covered by workers' compensation. Option B is incorrect because lost wages due to a work-related injury are covered under workers' compensation. Option C is incorrect because death benefits for a family after a fatal workplace accident are covered under workers' compensation. Question 30. Flood insurance. Which of the following is true about flood insurance? A. Flood insurance is typically included in standard homeowners insurance policies. B. Flood insurance is available only for properties located in flood-prone areas. C. Flood insurance is typically purchased through the National Flood Insurance Program (NFIP). D. Flood insurance covers damage from all types of water-related incidents, including sewer backups. Answer. C. Explanation. Option C is correct because flood insurance is typically purchased through the National Flood Insurance Program (NFIP), a government program that offers coverage for flood damage. Option A is incorrect because flood insurance is typically not included in standard homeowners insurance policies and must be purchased separately. Option B is incorrect because flood insurance is available for all properties, but it is particularly important for properties located in flood-prone areas. Option D is incorrect because flood insurance only covers damage caused by flooding from external water sources, not issues like sewer backups, which require separate coverage.